Hello friends, welcome. My name is Marina and today I'm going to show you how to make Ladurée Dark Chocolate Ganache. The recipe is published in his macarons book, however I made some changes to the instructions and made this ganache very simple. We need dark chocolate, heavy cream, white granulated sugar, unsalted butter, and cornstarch. We need spatula, saucepan, and small mixing bowl. Add sugar into saucepan, heavy cream, add a few tablespoons into mixing bowl, and then the rest into saucepan with the sugar. Add cornstarch into mixing bowl. And now I'm using whisk. Mixing heavy cream with the sugar, and over medium heat we're gonna warm up this heavy cream. We need to melt the sugar, whisking all the time. It doesn't take too long, just bringing to the simmer but not boiling. As soon as sugar melted, it's all good. And you have to work fast when you understand the whole process. It's not gonna take you too long. Then a mixing bowl with heavy cream and cornstarch, mixing with a whisk. Then pouring this heavy mixture over this cornstarch. We're tempering this cornstarch, basically making pastry cream. Then pouring back into saucepan, and we're gonna cook over medium heat. Not for too long. You have to be very careful here, mixing with the whisk all the time. And I want to show you closer what's going on in this saucepan. We need to bring this mixture to the boil. And you see how texture is changing. We're making pastry cream. Whisking all the time. I like to use whisk this process, not spatula. It really doesn't take too long. Don't use high heat, use medium heat. And you see the texture already of this pastry cream. As soon as you bring to boil, boil for about 20-30 seconds. We need to see bubbles not on the sides of the saucepan but also in the middle of the saucepan. Then turn off the heat and remove the saucepan. This is the texture of this pastry cream, and you see how shiny, and it's kind of reminds the glue. Then let it cool for a little bit. And I'm using spatula right here, just making sure there is no cornstarch left and just checking the texture. Then add chocolate into saucepan. I'm using Ladurée Dark Chocolate in this video. Just mix a little bit with a spatula, and you can leave in a saucepan or transfer into plastic cup. I like to use plastic cup because later we're going to be emulsifying with immersion blender, and it's easier to do in a cup. Plus we need to cool this mixture before we're going to add some butter. When this mixture cools to about 45 degrees Celsius, add butter. I'm using unsalted butter, room temperature, and I'm cutting into small pieces. And I highly recommend to use room temperature butter. Do not use cold butter. And I'm going to be using immersion blender. Slowly add butter, few pieces at a time, and emulsify with immersion blender. The recipe book says to use food processor, but I like to use immersion blender. And right here at these steps, please take your time to emulsify very slowly and add butter a few pieces at a time. There is no rush really needed. And if you see the ganache is separating, just place in the fridge for a few minutes and then emulsify again. And you'll see the texture of this ganache. It's kind of remind a mousse. It's so smooth and fluffy and shiny at the same time. And I have to tell you, it's not sweet. It's only 100 grams of chocolate used in this recipe. That's what I have. Then we need to transfer this ganache into pastry bag. And this is my trick I learned and I like to use it. I'm placing ganache straight into a pastry bag. The recipe says just in a container and cover with a plastic wrap. Yes, you can do that too, but I like to use a pastry bag. We're gonna lay it flat and refrigerate for at least few hours or overnight. We need to get this piping consistency of this ganache. It's already next day and I'm ready to fill macaron shells. Ganache was in the fridge overnight in a pastry bag. But right now what I'm doing, I'm using another pastry bag with a round piping tip, and in a bag with the ganache I'm cutting a little tip and I'm placing this bag with the ganache in my prepared pastry bag with the tip. This is very convenient and you can change different tips and it's creating less mess. I baked macaron shells and I colored them in purple color. I just really like this color. And I'm gonna fill with the ganache. I'm placing macaron shells on the countertop. This way it's just easy to fill with the ganache. And I'm piping ganache on a flat side of one macaron shell. And you see the texture of this ganache. It's very stable, it's shiny, it's really easy to pipe. Just want to show you closer. And the ganache is not sweet at all. This recipe, according to Ladurée macarons book, is enough to fill 50 macarons. 50 macarons, that's really a lot. 100 grams of chocolate for 50 macarons. I think this is amazing. When you fill with the ganache, just sandwich macaron with another macaron shells, press lightly, and you see how stable is this ganache. I really like, and it tastes delicious. What is really great about this recipe, and I posted this in my previous videos and on my blog, that this is basic Ladurée recipe of the ganache, and for this you can use any chocolate. You can use white, milk, or dark chocolate. Doesn't really make big difference of the percentage of the chocolate. It doesn't have to be high quality chocolate. Any chocolate will work. I promise you, I tested many times. That's why it's my favorite ganache so far for macarons. 100 grams for 50 macarons to fill. Amazing. And I really love the texture and how this ganache tastes. I would love to hear your comments, and if you try this recipe, I would like to hear what you think. When you fill macarons, place in an airtight container and refrigerate for at least 12 hours. Macarons needs to mature before you can enjoy them. If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you try this recipe, please leave a comment. I would love to hear what you think. Thank you for watching and happy baking!